99.5 FM, the radio with a difference. It is time for a rebroadcast of the Lall Show. Encouraging you to join us this evening at 19 hours 20 for the Monday edition.
Today, the Vice President, Bharat Jagdeo, signed another death warrant for all Guyana. He announced yesterday that the EPA issued ExxonMobil with the environmental permit for the fifth project and give Exxon 30 days to get the parent company guarantee. Uncle, auntie, that EPA permit is the first big step towards the final approval for the fifth oil project. This means Jagdeo is going full blast ahead to approve this fifth project, tying more rope around we necks to choke the Guyanese dogs faster. Instead of Jagdeo using his powers to help we, the Guyanese people, breathe, he joining hands to suffocate all Guyana more. Before I get into the details of this death warrant, let me tell you guys this. Guyana discovered oil in 2015. In those 5 years, the coalition sat there. They never held a single press conference to talk exclusively about oil. The Minister of State, Joseph Harmon, was asked at 4 different press conferences, when will he hold a press conference to talk about oil? He said at first that he has to put together his oil team. Uncle and Auntie, Joe Harmon and his party left office and disappeared. And that was the end of the oil team being put together by Joe Harmon. The PPP headed by Jagdeo at the time in opposition used to hold regular press conferences. He used to blast the oil contract and promise to investigate what the PNC did in the oil sector, and also promised to renegotiate the contract. That was when he was in the opposition. The PPP won the elections and came into power. It's going on 3 years now, and they have never held a single press conference to talk exclusively about this US $1 trillion oil sector. Now, we have the opposition headed by Norton, and they have never held such a press conference until now on oil alone. Yet, both the PPP and the PNC hosting regular press conferences to talk about everything under the sun except oil. When they choose to, they selectively speak on what they think. Yes, what they think we must know. Boy, you guys in trouble. Girls, you're in trouble. Jagdeo held 5 press conferences in the last 5 weeks. 4 were held at Freedom House to talk about your vote and other party issues. And only 1 out of the 5 was on national issues, in which 3/4 of that press conference was to attack and abuse out the PNC and the Kaieteur News. The other quarter, he touched on some frivolous things and what them have in store for the new 14 oil blocks, where, so far, Uncle, not a drop of oil has been found in any one of them. The Exxon Stabroek block, where billions of barrels of oil were discovered, there has not been a single word said about that block. And when oil questions are put to Jagdeo on what's going on with the oil business and how it's being run, instead of answering the questions, he tries to insult and embarrass the Kaieteur News reporters. This has been his way of distracting the nation from the exploitation and mismanagement of our gold, our oil, and other natural resources we have. My reporter asked Jagdeo about the gold contracts he promised 1 million times to release to the public. For us to see, Uncle. Yes, for us to see what we're getting from those secret deals they sign with the foreign companies in our gold fields. I want you guys to listen, and listen carefully, how he get upset, aggressive, abusive, scornful, and insulting to my reporter. Play.
So I heard you mention that you think it's not important. So is this the reason why the government has not been too keen on releasing these contracts, because it's not that important?
You sound like Glenn Lall. I see it's rubbing off on you. You just heard an explanation about proprietary. You just heard about proprietary, and that's it. You just heard about the proprietary concerns. And for your edification, and I already see you got another school coming up. We got to deal with another wave of people in the future. Thankfully, we have in a particular hospital.
Wow. Thankfully, we got a particular hospital. Uncle, this is the level of statesmanship and leadership that we have in this country. The reporters sound like Glenn Lall, and they have another school coming up to deal with another wave of people in the future. Thankfully, they're having a particular hospital to deal with people like us. You hear that? Gregory, you hear that? Mm-hmm. Wow. Glenn Lall and his reporters are stupid and sick people to ask him about what deal this country getting for our wealth. And I leave that to you. I leave the rest to you, Uncle. You heard him, and you heard the question the young reporter asked him. I leave it for you. You see why I find it very difficult to say good night or namaste? Not in a rude way.
I know.
We are only asking to know what is there for us with our own wealth. And this is the kind of insulting answer and abuse we have to face and put up with. Is when is election, Gregory?
So, which one of them? You got two coming. You got general and you got which are the
Uncle, please, I am begging all of you, go out and vote for the PPP and the PNC. They will take you guys to heaven. Let's go back to the death warrant Jagdeo announced yesterday. Every Guyanese know how Jagdeo abused down and cussed out the PNC when they signed Lisa 1 and 2. He said they settled for zero royalty, zero taxes, no ring fencing, and how he gonna change everything if he get into office. Auntie, he came in and did even worse with the Lisa 3 and 4 projects. Same zero royalty, same zero taxes, and no ring fencing. A matter of fact, he made those two projects worse than Lisa 1 and 2. Lisa 1 and 2 was $7 billion US. Lisa 3 and 4, end up being 19 billion US dollars. You hear that, Gregory? His two, Lisa, almost 3 times the PNC to Lisa. And got nothing. You hear that? And got nothing. Not a single cent more out of those 2 projects. Had he properly scrutinized, verify, check and demand something better from Lisa 3 and 4. Mind you, Gregory, he acknowledged that we were screwed on Lisa 1 and 2.
Correct, he did.
By now, every household would have been collecting at least $1 million every month in this country. None of you would have been living hand to mouth like you are now. Can't even afford to buy greens in the market, or milk, or soap. So, he made Lisa 3 and 4 worse. And now yesterday, hear me carefully, uncle, and now yesterday, at his Freedom House press conference, where previously he told my reporter he is not there to answer questions on oil, he chose to. Here, Gregory, he chose to, like a thief in the night, to sneak in the 5th oil project. Remember, he tell my reporter he is not there to talk about oil whenever he's at Freedom House. He is there to discuss party matters. You want to hear him for yourselves? Play him. Play him, you're going to hear him.
No, mainly party today. Party usually.
Play it back, party.
No, mainly party today. Party usually.
Only party. Yes. My question asked him, my reporter asked him a question. And he said, no. Only party. But he still turned around and slide in the 5th project on me back with the EPA permit. This is how he handling Guyana's US $1 trillion oil projects. Like I said, uncle, this is only the EPA permit. The contract, the deal still to be signed. Let's wait and see what Jagdev is going to get from this 5th project. That is different from the 4 projects which both he and the PNC give away to ExxonMobil. If we will still stuck with a 0 royalty, 0 taxes, with no ring fencing. Gregory, let's wait and see.
Yep.
That information, uncle, was all he decided to share at that press conference yesterday at Freedom House. Yes. Gregory, let me ask you, what do you think? When Jagdev signed this 5th project, you think you'll get anything more?
No.
No.
Well,
I am betting my last dollar. I am prepared to stop this program if Jagdev get anything more on this 5th project. You know what, Gregory? You know what? You know what will put you guys in a better position to get something, Gregory? You got to get out into the streets.
yes.
And you got to get out into their faces.
Yes, and demand it.
Exactly, and demand that you get
It's yours.
your real benefits from this wealth,
You
uncle.
got beg for them.
As it stands, auntie and uncle, and let me say this bold, flat out, what these leaders doing with your gold, diamond, bauxite, timber, and now your oil, is only some of them getting a share. And when them get, All the rest of us getting shaft. Gregory, something got to be done in this country, and it has to be done quickly. Every day that goes by is more lies, more deceit, more cunningness, and more concealingness. You never get a straight, clean or clear story from any one of them. Everything they do and say is destructive to you, your family, and your future generations, uncle. Look at this, Gregory. Jagdev said the government give the clearance with the EPA permit. And in the same breath, he said Exxon has 30 days to provide parent company guarantee for the same fifth project. That is full cover. That is full protection from an oil spill. If what is happening here is not disastrous and sad to all of us, then I don't know what is. This parent company guarantee has been a promise from the PNC into the PPP and out of Jagdev's mouth 1 million times every day, every week, every month, every year, at every press conferences. We getting parent company guarantee. And Jagdev now telling us he approved another permit for the fifth project, and we have to wait 30 days for the parent company guarantee. I only hope you understand what Glenn Lall is saying here, you know. And I only hope you guys understand the danger this country faces, you know. Since 2015, uncle, we pumping oil. And both the PPP and the PNC promising to get, I should have said since 2019, uncle, we pumping oil. And both of them promise to get full protection from an oil spill. We in 2023, and Jagdev approving more oil projects and still telling us we gonna get protection in 30 days. Are you believe this thing, brother?
Lucky, you tell them you just sell things and forget.
4 years, and we ain't get that parent company guarantee that Jagdev said ExxonMobil promised to give we. And he gone and give them another permit with another promise. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Bharat Jagdev got we living in a promised land. Just like the Bible said. He believed he is Moses. Moses saved the Israelites from the Egyptians. And he's saving us from the Americans and the Chinese. Only God Almighty can help you out in this country right now. Only God Almighty can help us out. Or your feet's on the streets. Elections coming. Are you going to save yourselves by staining your conscience and push your finger down deep in the ink? Then eat it. That is what you will be left with when the PPP and the PNC done with you in this country. The PNC and the PPP been waiting on an acknowledgement from the parent companies couple of years now, Gregory. Jagdev doing better now. He reduced the time to 30 days. Yes, 30 days for the fifth project. At his last press conference, he talked about that. He said, y'all ain't get it yet? Oh. He said, oh, you're getting it, you're getting it. I instructed the EPA to ensure we get it.
More promises.
Yesterday, he said the EPA permit sign off and Exxon got 30 days. Ay, 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 ay. This is how Jack Dave dances around in circles and dangles Guyana on a string like a yo-yo. This is the scampishness, the tricks, the schemes, the stunts he keep on pulling on Guyana and all of us. Year go, year come. Now listen to what transpired yesterday, Gregory. Uncle and Auntie, listen carefully what transpired today. What I said there transpired yesterday at Freedom House. You got to listen what transpired today. That he know about since yesterday and did not say a single word. Hear this, Uncle. That same fifth project. Oh boy. The man didn't say a single word. Not a single word yesterday, and he know it since yesterday about the fifth project. Yesterday, Jagde only told Guyana about the EPA permit that he granted to ExxonMobil. And when we thought that was the first development in the fifth project, man, Gregory, Uncle and Auntie, Jagde trick we again and throw we in a bigger trap this time around. Uncle, Auntie, Jagde trick we again and throw we in a bigger trap this time around. Today, not even a full 24 hours, not even a full 24 hours done since he announced the permit approval at Freedom House. The government, Uncle, the government approved the whole deal this morning. The whole deal, Uncle. Yes, this morning. You guys hear what I said, man? Jagdeo them don't give ExxonMobil and partners the whole project. And we still waiting for full protection.
But it is done.
You understand what I said there? Yesterday he announced the EPA permit with 30 days to get the full protection insurance. Right? You got to wait a while for them to sign the production sharing agreement where you sign up the deal. This morning, they hand them on a platter. Yes. Jagdeo know that in his heart since yesterday that this was going to happen. Yet, this schemer didn't tell us a word. How do you describe people like this? How can we ever trust a leader like this? This man kicking all of us in the mouth and then spitting in the eyes as if we are a piece of garbage. This man literally giving away our livelihoods, our future, and that of our children and grandchildren's future right in front of the eyes. Is this man a human being? Look how many times this man promised this nation to release those contracts. Look how many times this man promised to secure full liability coverage from the oil companies. Gregory, uncle, auntie, you people need to take firewood to see what Jagdeo doing to all of us in broad daylight. In which other country in the world would the citizens allow their leaders to do things like these, man? Huh? Greg, you know why Jagdeo is doing this? Because all Guyana is sitting down on their brains.
Silent.
On their brains.
Silent.
The last 2 projects that he approved, he knew all the dangers that Guyana faced with Liza 1 and 2 that the coalition signed. This man cost down the PNC and the AFC for selling out our patrimony and committed to correct all the wrongs and renegotiated that contract. Yes, that was his promise. He came in and instead of renegotiating the contract, he is protecting and defending the contract more than ExxonMobil themselves. Every single time he opens his mouth. Exxon don't have to say nothing, you know. You notice Exxon don't say anything?
Not a word.
Jagdeo. Bharat Jagdeo is their pit bull to attack Guyanese when we ask questions. When you ask him about interest rate, it's like you raise a demon deep within him. You get a long lecture about how loans hard to get, as if that is our concern. Uncle and auntie, all we need to know is how much interest our oil has to pay on these massive loans. That's all we need to know. All the oil countries does put a cap on those loans so that the country does not get robbed. Why Jagdeo is not telling us the rate and capping the interest rates? Let me ask this man. The investment out there belong to he? It seems so, uncle. Like if he getting a cut from all the interest them charging Guyana. I'm just asking.
Your shares.
Uncle, when I hear how he defend this interest, sitting down there for a moment, I thought he was ExxonMobil CEO. 50 billion US at 10% is 5 billion US a year, uncle. And Guyana is getting, if I am to use the 219 for the last 3 months we will get less than 1 billion for the whole year. While Exxon walking away with 5 billion American dollar on interest alone. We hold, there's 1.5 year budget money. Exxon walk away alone. And Jagdeo would defend that and not telling us that. Man, with that alone, every Guyanese should have been on the streets. You I'll paying $5 billion in interest alone, and you for the whole year you get 1 billion, man? From you I'll?
For you thing.
Eh?
For your thing.
Man, sometimes
Who does that?
sometimes I don't know what else to say. But to beg God Almighty to come and help Guyana. Because like you people not gonna do anything. Jagdeo is allowed to do everything and anything. And the PNC and the AFC is blind, deaf, and dumb. Uncle, when you ask Jack Dave about the US hundreds of millions exam taking out as clean-up costs, nearly more than what we get, buddy. Is abuse out. It's like you interfere with his family. You ask him about expenses and the bills from ExxonMobil. Oh, he said we gonna nitpick on it. You ask the man about ring fencing, the zero taxes or more royalties. The man telling me, oh, you asking me about a feather from the foot and a feather from the head of a plucked chicken. Are you sure y'all still want this man to be in charge of a cake shop in this country? Or you guys want him to be assigned to the same hospital he wants to put me and my reporters in? Which one? We running a half and half business in this land. And Jagdeo telling us we can't see the expenses. We must know the interest rates. Is what going on between Exxon and He-Man? Eh? Is this a husband and wife situation where both parties looking out for one another while we are looking for crumbs? Uncle? Are you still voting for them? I'm just asking. Local government election coming up. The president of Guyana said, nobody will ever agree with this contract and that Guyana holding the wrong end of the stick. Now all of them holding on to the same stick. That stick got to be sweet for them, not for us. You want to listen to that? Yeah. Listen to them. Play the tape, let them listen back.
After ExxonMobil came here under the PVP, explored under the PVP, found oil under the PVP, at that time we had a chance to renegotiate the contract to bring more benefits to Guyana. Mr. Speaker, that company walked in because they're very smart, big company. They look out for their shareholders. And so what they did, they walk in with their maximum demands. Our incompetent government trudged in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony. And when they were caught, Mr. Speaker, with this, what did they do?
The oil contract. Do you agree with the 55 billion signed away global witness report? And will you revisit the oil contract?
We have made it very clear, but we can never agree. How can, I don't think any Guyanese agree with this. No Guyanese, except the government that is defending it. We have made it very clear that we have to go towards relooking at these contracts, renegotiating these contracts, looking at contract management, and all of these things. Everything we have to relook at because we have to ensure that our country does not get the wrong end of the stick.
So everything is on the table for review as it relates to oil contracts?
Yes, review and renegotiate.
Take off. They sold us out to the foreigners. The oil companies, every time there is a find out there, our people should be sad because nothing comes our way. We are going to renegotiate those contracts because that's not what we had in mind. When we were in the early days, we were coaxing the people to go along. They came into office, 3 billion barrels of proven reserves, and then gave up a zero royalty, no taxes, no ring fencing.
Hi, uncle and auntie, I don't know I sometimes lost for words. I don't have to explain anything, you heard it. President Ali said we're holding the wrong end of the stick. And everything will review and renegotiate. Bharat Jagdeo said, he will renegotiate all the contracts. Uncle, it was only one contract signed at the time where they were pumping oil, is the Exxon contract. You heard him. Gregory, I asked myself many times, how can national leaders switch their mouths, their stories, their tongues overnight, knowingly sending a nation to its doom while making the oil gangsters in this land happy?
With our wealth,
Huh?
our resources. With my resources, I should say, my own, and all the rest of Guyanese own. How come?
They are so happy, Gregory, that the CEO of Hess Corporation, one of Exxon partners working out there with a 30% share in Exxon partnership. You hear me? With Exxon partnership. Was boasting 3 days ago to their shareholders how Guyana's oil is a major contributor to the 346 million US profits they made from January to March of this year. You hear that? Them could have make, uncle, 346 million in the first 3 months of this year, in which Guyana's oil was the major contributor to their profits, and we only received 219 million. ExxonMobil announced today, uncle, when I was getting a license, same time I was getting a license, today, uncle, that they made 11.4 billion profit in the first 3 months of 2023 too. You heard about it? They said this is the highest first quarter profits they ever made in the entire lifetime in the oil sector. How you like that, brother? You hear that, uncle? The highest money them ever make in 3 months in their lifetime in the oil business. They also said that Guyana and one other place responsible for this. Oh boy. Guyana got to be the major part because they're actually getting all the oil for free.
Exactly so.
Them making profits in the US billions in 3 months, while Guyana making 219 million. Oh boy, 11.4 billion.
When they don't need, they scrape the bones and give you.
Wait now, 11.4 billion. We barely get half of the 0.4 billion. Oh, Papa, are you coming? Are you help Glenn Lall? He need help. Oh, 219. You know the 11.4, right? If we get a 4, you could say, all right, man, let us give them the 11 billion. And let me take the 400 million. We get 219 million, buddy. That's just above half of the 0.4 billion. Oh my God. Oh boy. Uncle, As for the third partner, the Chinese companies, them don't release their profits because them business is private. That's the Chinese government. And them secretive. Them don't tell their profit. Exxon and Hess got to tell their profit because they have to tell their shareholders. I think I'm going to buy some shares in both of them. I'm going to buy some shares in them. This is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Oh, Guyana. I love this country. When I think about these things, it makes me sick to the core. And this trend, uncle, this trend of we receiving millions while they would be receiving billions, yes, will continue for life until the oil is done in those 4 projects. And today, Jagdeo and President Ali, like I said, approved the 5th project with the same terms and conditions. So which means we're going to be collecting only millions throughout the 5th projects. Throughout the 1 to the 5th projects, while they will be collecting in the billions of US dollars. And this is not a sellout, uncle. That is called business, according to our vice president. You run a country like a business, not like a cake shop, Raj. Not like a cake shop. You run a country like a business. Remind them, play him the little, remind them there, man.
It's a business decision. Governments have to be run like business. It's not cake shop operation. It's a business decision. Governments have to be run like business. It's not cake shop operation.
Yes, it's not a cake shop operation. Government has to run like a business. Man, play him again, let him hear this man.
It's a business decision. Governments have to be run like business. It's not cake shop operation. It's a business decision. Governments have to be run like business. It's not cake shop operation.
Stop it. He gave that answer when I asked him about the Marriott, selling out the Marriott. Government has to run like a business. Every time the oil companies open their mouths, uncle, they boasting how good Guyana's oil is to them and their shareholders. And every time these leaders open their mouths, all they do is make excuses and more excuses to the Guyanese people who are the owners and shareholders of all the oil out there. I will have to rethink continuing this program and doing these TikToks. If you people continue sitting on your hands and freezing your brains, yes, I am thinking, I'm reconsidering this program. I am getting tired, not physically, not mentally or spiritually, but I am getting tired. Tired because of you people sitting on your hands and freezing your brains. I feel like getting off this radio station and tell you I'll go to hell, because hell is staring all of you in your faces. If there is such a place called hell. You know, you feel like that sometimes, you know. President Ali, when cornered the other day by a reporter and was asked about ring fencing on that same fifth project. We carried it in the Kaieteur News a 2 week back. He dodged the question and said, the decision will be made public and justified. Hear that? 2 weeks ago, a reporter asked him that. What about ring fencing on the fifth project coming up? He said, yes, the decision will be made public and justified. Let's see what justification he will give Guyana since they approved the project today. Correct?
Correct.
Let's wait and see. President Ali, the whole country, including Lall, is waiting to hear the justification for not ring fencing the fifth project. Uncle, there can be no justification whatsoever for not ring fencing the expenses on each mango tree. Each mango tree must take care of its own expenses so you can get your rightful share on it. You got any different qualms about that, Gregory?
No.
So, what excuse we can get here, Gregory? Without ring fencing, y'all will continue to get 219 every 3 months. Gregory, we are not asking for renegotiation. We are asking to ring fence each project. Uncle, this is what you have to push in their faces whenever they come around, y'all, to ask you for your votes. Ask them how this country gonna become like a Dubai if expenses from all over is being dumped onto the bearing mango tree. What do you think happened to your profits, man? You know, Uncle, the same day when President Ali was asked about that ring fencing, he was asked about the audit report in which they put a man to check $7.3 billion of Exxon bills. He told the reporters, oh, the report will be addressed at the appropriate time. The oil going out now, the bills piling up by the billions each day, and President Ali telling us it will be addressed at the appropriate time. Maybe when the oil done, he can address it. So you have two things there. Ring fencing decision will be made public and be justified, and the audit will be addressed at the appropriate time. Gregory, every day they sit down thinking how to avoid answering these questions and hoping these questions will go away. How you like that, bro? The biggest business in this region, and our leaders telling us we will deal with that at the appropriate time. Yes, and to justify what is going on when we don't approve the project. 4 years now, we pumping oil, and this country do not know what is going on. And nothing is changing. Nothing is changing, Uncle. A matter of fact, it gets worse each day that goes by. Wow. Imagine ExxonMobil made a new oil find couple days ago. We reported that too in the newspaper. And the government so ashamed to make that announcement. Guess what, Gregory? The oil company making the announcement to their shareholders overseas. That's how we're learning about it in Guyana. They're boasting about we oil finds, while we leaders hiding it from our people. And also they're hiding from our people too. They're not only hiding that, they're hiding themselves from we. Is when again is elections? Huh? Soon. Y'all go out and stay in everything over them.
Very soon.
You know, Uncle, I did a TikTok yesterday and put it out, in which I said, it is so frightening where this country is heading and what will become of it. Imagine you rent your furnished house or an apartment to a tenant, and the damages the tenant doing to your bridge, your driveway, and your yard with the heavy-duty machineries, equipment, and trucks is 10 times the money you collect in rent every year. What do you do here? How do you deal with that, Uncle? And the tenant telling you that's the contract y'all sign. That have you running to the bank for loans to correct and fix the damages he do to your property. Uncle and Auntie, that is the situation we find ourselves in with ExxonMobil and the oil companies ever since we rent them those 4 leaser projects in the Stabrook Block. Yes. Yeah, man. Now, the 5th one, right? Yeah. Uncle, they have already destroyed and are continuing to destroy our roadways, bridges, wharves daily to the tune of 10 times more than what we are receiving in royalties and profits. What do we do here? Is this business? Is this progress? Or is this blocking up Guyana, sinking us further into debts? You guys tell me, man. You tell me, man. Exxon throwing, excuse me, 219 every 3 months at us and blocking up Guyana more than 1 billion US every 3 months on those 3 things alone I mentioned here. And we must clap our hands, smile and be happy, for this is development according to President Ali. I need to go vote for them again, because that is development. That's how this country will turn Dubai overnight. Gregory. Gregory, I really can't find it in my heart to say good night or namaste to no one. And I don't mean it rude, Uncle and Auntie. I can't find it. It's not coming out my soul. Let us go back to your tenant. The tenant story. The tenant also destroying the sofa, the bed, the fridge, the stove, the walls, plus the TV in the house. The money to correct and fix back everything he destroyed or broke up there is another 5 times more than the rent money you're getting. So where does that leave you, Uncle? Where does that leave you, Auntie? Where does it leave you, your assets and your property? Is that progress? Is this business? Are you growing? Are you going anywhere with this kind of agreement, an arrangement? Or are you allowing the tenant to dig a hole to bury you? You tell me, man. You tell me.
I could tell you something.
This is exactly what is going on in this country with that Exxon and Guyana contract. And no one making a move to kick out the tenant, stop this crime, and start over with a new arrangement that will benefit both sides, rather than one side burying the other side. Yes. Rather than Exxon burying Guyana. And like I said, now the government rent them the fifth house, the fifth project, under the same terms and conditions as the previous four. A gentleman tell me he getting ready to walk from Crabwood Creek in Berbice to Charity on the Essequibo Coast very soon. I will join him. I will join him for my grandchildren's sake. How about you, Gregory?
I'm coming.
Thank you.
I'm coming for sort.
How about you, Auntie? This is a nightmare that Guyanese have to live with day in and day out. And then we have the US ambassador putting out statement saying their business interests are being threatened. Our wealth being siphoned off, our properties being destroyed, and our business interests is not being threatened. Them one is. Our present livelihood and our future prosperity are being stripped away by these exploiters. And when we open our mouths to talk about this, their business interests are being threatened. We are being pushed to the gallows, hungry, half naked and barefoot for our own treasures. And we shouldn't say anything, according to the US ambassador, Madam Sarah Lynch. The more I live and learn about this gold, this diamond, this oil, the more I see how well dressed, so-called respectable people who smile so sweetly with you, but deep down within them, they are plotting to chop you up into pieces, to rob you of every cent you have, leaving you and your children to survive however you can. You know, Gregory, what is more hurtful is when your own people, your own leaders, joining hands with them to stab us in our backs. I couldn't help from holding back my tears that came out of my eyes as I walked down into the dungeons of the Cape Coast Castle in Ghana. One of 72 slave pens they have across Ghana. Uncle, what I am witnessing presently, right here in this country, is the beginning of the horrors that visited Africa a few hundreds of years ago. There isn't a moment of the day that I do not cry. Cry out for what is taking place here. And that's the truth, Uncle. I don't lie. I can't recall the last day I ever tell a lie to any human being. We need to do something. And we need to do it quickly. There is no way we should allow these foreign invaders, these exploiters, to repeat in Guyana in this 21st century what they did to Africa, Asia, and the Latin American countries. And there is also no way, uncle, there is no way, auntie, we should allow our own leaders that we put in office to join forces with these invaders to destroy our livelihoods, our future, with the resources we have. Please, please, we have to take to the streets very peacefully and raise our voices. We have to show them that this can't happen and it must stop. And we should begin as early as possible. Maybe the next working day, in front of the office of the president. The opposition protesting about fraud in the voters list every day at GCOM. The massive oil fraud that is going on in this country. The massive gold fraud too that's going on in this country. There is no word. There is no interest, no protests from either one of the PPP or the PNC. They are in bed with the foreign exploiters while you are left to fend for yourselves with whatever you can scrape up here and there and everywhere, like fowls scratching all over. This is what they have reduced the majority of Guyanese people to daily. And with that, I say no more. I end there. I am going to take a few telephone calls. Lord, man. Marriott Hotel. Jagdeo used the PPP press conference to tell the nation that they ain't worrying to sell it anymore. He's shame for admit that they get catch all wrong, trying to huff out the money-making machine out we hand. Yes. Telling us the price and suit them is too low. What a Guyana you live in. What a Guyana you live in. Oh. Uncle, I'm going to take 2-3 calls and go. Wow. We will not proceed, Gregory. He said we will not proceed with any of the bids because we believe that they are too low. Because of the value of the asset. Yes. And its capacity to earn. Hear that? Capacity to earn. He know well. That hotel costs us nearly 100 million US. Oh. Oh, Uncle, oh, I'm tired.
So you were talking about the tenants.
I'm tired.
The tenants are...
1 second. Good evening, sir.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
If I think about the ways you make me smile, I'd be sitting here and smiling for a while. Although I know I make you cry sometimes, your happiness is ever on my mind. I cannot repay for everything you've done, but my love for you burns brighter than the sun. No matter where my feet and mind may go, my heart will lead to you and you alone. Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave your shore. A paradise so wondrous to behold.